While at Sulphur Springs High School, she earned 6 letters, 4 in softball and 2 in cross country. In softball, she was the 2001 District Sophomore of the Year and was the first team All-District, All-Region, and Academic All-State each of her last 3 years. As a senior, she was also the softball MVP and recipient of the James Cameron Fighting Heart Award. Belle Nix ran cross country her sophomore and junior years and was the district champion and state qualifier as a sophomore when she was also named team MVP. She was awarded a softball scholarship to the University of Central Arkansas, where she was a 3-year Letterman starter for the UCA Bears softball team. She was named the 2004 Gulf South Conference Freshman of the Year and was second team All-Conference as a sophomore and junior. In 2006, she was the 2006 GCS Crossover Tournament Offensive Player of the Tournament. She also holds career records at UCA for top 25 in batting average, on-base percentage, stolen base percentage, most hits, most triples. She is number 3 in career stolen bases with 91 and number 1 in sacrifice hits with 24. She finished her career with a .978 fielding percentage starting every game at second base. Megan graduated cum laude in 2008 with a bachelor's in nursing from the University of Central Arkansas and graduated summa cum laude in 2014 with a master's in nurse anesthesia from Texas Wesleyan University and was also named Clinical Resident of the Year in 2014. She now resides in Sulphur Springs and is a certified registered nurse anesthetist at Christus Mother Francis in Sulphur Springs. She is married to Robbie Nix, who is a letterman in baseball at the University of Central Arkansas, and they have 3 children, Cooper, 12, Lundy, 10, and Jackson, 3. Her parents are Terry and Lynn Bell, and has 1 brother, Tab Bell. Megan is currently coaching a girls 10 and under select softball team, Wildcat Select. Her presenter tonight is her high school coach, John McCullough. That's Megan Bell Nix. Next up, Torio Kelly, class of 1996. Torio Kelly, who graduated from Sulphur Springs in 1996, was a record-setting running back in football and a state qualifier in track and field. Kelly broke numerous school records at Sulphur Springs High School, earning him all-district and all-state honors as both a junior and senior. He still holds the school record for most career yards rushing with 3,555 and most carries with 563, and held the school single-season rushing record of 1,771 yards, as well as most rushing TDs in a season and a career. He also was a 4-year track letterman, finishing 6th in state as a junior in the long jump. He qualified for regionals his junior and senior seasons, finishing 2nd as a junior and 3rd as a senior. He was a football team captain as a senior and was co-MVP in both football and track. Kelly notes that he was fortunate to have been coached by 2 Hall of Fame coaches, James Cameron and Joey Florence. He earned a scholarship to Tyler Junior College and then transferred to Texas A&M Commerce in 1998, where he was an all-conference athlete in football before graduating in 2001. At TJC, he was honorable mention all-conference as a special teams player with 4 block kicks. At A&M Commerce, he is currently ranked 6th with the longest fumble return in 2001 of 60 yards, and is also currently tied for 6th with 14 passes defended with 10 breakups and 4 interceptions in 2001. After college, Kelly caught the attention of the NFL, working out for 14 teams and 2 Canadian teams, as well as 3 arena football clubs. Over the years, Torio has shared his passion for athletics by educating and coaching area youngsters, and he remains active in the Texas High School Coaches Association. Torio and his wife Larissa now live in DeSoto. They are both coaches in the DFW area. Torio's the assistant football and head boys track coach at South Garden High School. They have 4 children and 1 grandson. Torio's mother is Bobby Kelly Reese. He has 2 brothers, Darnell Kelly and Michael Kelly. And his presenter tonight is his son, Jeremiah Kelly. That's Torio Kelly. And now Quan Johnson, class of 1990. Quan Johnson was a 2-year starter and 2-time all-district selection for the Wildcats in basketball at Sulphur Springs High School. He was named district MVP his senior year when he averaged 18.3 points, 6.4 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 2.6 steals per game. He also shot 60% from the field and 88% from the free throw line. The 1990 season for the Wildcats can be described in no other way than simply spectacular. Winning 13 consecutive games, the Cats broke the record set in the 64-65 season, and their 24 wins tied the school record for most wins in a single season. The perfect 8-0 record in district set a new school record for no losses in district play. Johnson was the only nominated player for the MVP award, a rare tribute for the versatile 6-foot senior star. He was also named second-team All-Region and All-State honorable mention. Johnson completed his Wildcat career with 899 points, setting the school record during that time for most career points for a 2-year letterman. During Johnson's career, the Wildcats posted a 43-18 record. After graduating high school, Johnson attended Navarro College. He now resides in Sulphur Springs, where he managed at Walmart for 19 years and is currently the operations manager at High Health Cosmetics in Dallas. Johnson's parents are Lonnie and Joyce Shaw. He's been married for 27 years to Chandra Johnson and has 2 daughters, Elia Johnson, an SSHS teacher at Douglas ECLC, and Tia Perry, who is employed with Jordan's Place Pediatrics. He's got 2 sons, Sulphur Springs High School seniors Taurus and David Johnson. Johnson has 6 siblings, sisters Loretta, Sandra, and Carla, and brothers Damon, Kevin, and Brandon.
On Friday, October 21st, with Wildcat football as they host Paris, but currently we are wrapping up the 2022 Hall of Honor ceremony, and right now the man being honored is Quan Johnson, class of 1990.
Yeah, what a great resume he has as a Sulphur Springs High School athlete.
Kelly and Quan Johnson on their induction into the Wildcat Hall of Honor.
So now the 4 members of the 2022 Hall of Honor being recognized at just about midfield. It included, just as we previously mentioned, Quan Johnson. You also had Megan Bell-Nix, and then 2 more.
Torio Kelly was one of the others. What another impressive resume that he had. He's still the all-time leading career rusher for the Wildcats. I think in his career it was over 3,500 yards.
Wow, that's almost
impressive.
Unbelievable.
Yes, it's absolutely impressive.
I mean, if you take that just from a 3-year standpoint, that means he averaged about 1,200 yards for 3 straight seasons.
Yeah,
My goodness.
exactly.
That's a bell cow right there.
Yep. And then
the last one was Colby Suggs.
Colby Suggs, yes. So another great group of former Wildcat athletes that are being inducted into that have already been inducted into the Hall of Honor. So a great night for them and a great recognition for their achievements in athletics in the past. So looks like we've got about 7.5 minutes till kickoff. I'm Chad Young. I'll be your host this evening for tonight's festivities, and the gentleman carrying all the weight will be Ross Lubinsky on our play-by-play. We've got Matt Jansen on the camera tonight, And for those of you watching on our YouTube streaming channel, thank you for tuning in. So, Wildcats versus the Wildcats tonight.
Good evening, fans, and welcome
Here we
to
go.
the Oakland Stadium, where tonight the Silver Spring Wildcats host the Paris Wildcats. During tonight's game, we ask that you show support for each organization participating in tonight's events. All fans in attendance are asked to show courtesy and respect for fellow fans, officials, coaches, and students. Each student athlete has worked extremely hard to showcase their talents and abilities, and I would love to hear your support. Be loud and proud. Let's go Wildcats.
The prayer, and then we'll be awaiting probably the school song, and then light wind tonight. Winds out of the south about 7 miles per hour, as reported by James Terry back at the studio, who's running things at the studio for us tonight. It's kind of a warm night for a late October game, Ross.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's something I was kind of noticing too, is that a decision I always have to make when I get out of my car and head up to the press boxes is, do I need sunglasses? And as we get later in the year, obviously the sun sets earlier,
right.
But I was a little surprised, just as you were mentioning, as I was walking up, it was a little bit toasty. I kind of broke out into sweat as we were setting up.
Wildcat alma mater. And remain standing for the Sulphur Springs.
Yes, they're going to play the Paris alma mater, and then we'll have the Sulphur Springs. But yeah, 77 degrees will be the temperature at kickoff tonight. So kind of a warm, and I already see all the smoke billowing from Buford Park over there, as all the campfires are already, a lot of the campfires, not all of them, but a lot of them for the stew contest tomorrow. They're having an appetizer contest over there tonight, and there's a concert that's going to be performed after the game. So a lot of festivities going on tonight here in Hopkins County. But unfortunately, the Paris fans have not shown up yet for their team. They may be stuck in trying to get in. There's a lot of traffic out here tonight trying to get in and around. A lot of folks at the stew already getting ready for tomorrow's stew early in the morning.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing, Chad. I mean, it looks like there's probably maybe over 50 Paris fans here. So,
yeah.
And the parking lot on the other side is just about full. So you have to imagine that's either Wildcat fans, or I kind of figured a lot of people over at Buford Park already.
Yeah, probably so.
So best of luck to them coming in and finding a parking spot, because even the home side was
we see them
full.
circling around up there. Here's the Sulphur Springs alma mater. As the Wildcats line up under the big inflatable helmet on the north end of the field, getting ready to come out and greet the fans. It's a full crowd here on the Sulphur Springs side. Several hundred fans coming out. Does it for that. We'll have the Wildcats come out.
On your feet, ladies and gentlemen, there they are, your Sulphur Springs Wildcats.
Yes, you heard it. Here comes your Wildcats. A great season so far, Ross. 5-1 coming into tonight's game.
Yeah, 2-0 in district at that.
Yes.
And what's so funny is you talk to coaches, and they're kind of like, and in fact, I mentioned that almost every week talking to Coach Faircloth, and I was like, so Coach, 1-0, 2-0.
Right.
Kind of kept going through the weeks, and then he kind of was just like, well, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. But once you kind of get to district, all of the coaches kind of say the same thing. It's kind of like the non-district, or a lot of them call it pre-district, it's essentially irrelevant. Like,
right.
What matters is district, and especially in a 5-game district season,
right.
All of these games are crucial. So Sulphur Springs to be 2-0 a year after being 0-10.
Yep, huge. That's huge.
Gargantuan.
And the Sulphur Springs Wildcats are favored tonight over the Paris Wildcats. That'll be the last time I say Wildcats tonight. We'll say Paris and Sulphur Springs for the rest of the game to try to keep everything straight. They've come out on the field. They'll be lining up. We'll have the national anthem shortly.
Just under 2.5 to go here on the warm-up clock. The Wildcats on their home sideline, and tonight they are wearing their white pants, white helmets, and blue uniforms. And we've been talking about it every week, but I cannot give enough credit to them for changing their outfitters and changing their new look, and it looks very sharp. And a lot of coaches will do that to kind of bring in a new era.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remain standing for our invocation. Tonight's invocation given by Senior Macaulay Metter. Then our national anthem under the direction of Mr. Spencer Emmert.
And here.
Dear Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for everyone who's able to come tonight. I pray that you keep all the players safe on the field. And I pray that you keep everyone here tonight safe on their way home. Thank you for all that you do for us. In Jesus' name.
And another wonderful rendition by the Sulphur Springs High School Band. And Matt zoomed in on the flags there, which are blowing nicely tonight because of the breeze. May not be good for the kicking teams, but we do have a little bit of wind. Wind's really supposed to get up tomorrow during the stew contest, Ross. So if you're going out there, you're going to have to plan accordingly. You want to be upwind of those campfires, I think.
So tonight for Paris.
The captains for the Sulphur Springs Wildcats coming out. We have number 2, 10, 48, and 59 on the Wildcat side tonight.
That's number 2, Cooper Faircloth, number 10, Matt Mitchell, number 48, Matthew Clark, and number 59, Sean Dial.
Yes, and then over on the Paris side, we've got 11, 49, and as soon as the official moves, I'll tell you the other one, number 6, I believe. Again, this is the part I like, the officials explaining to the both sides how a coin toss works. And looks like Paris has won the toss, and they have chosen to defer. So Wildcats are going to choose to defend the north end of the field on the kickoff, and so the Wildcats will be moving left to right here on your radio dial for this first quarter.
So those captains for Paris are 8, Caden McDonald, 11, Patrick Rowland, and 45, Preston Harper.
So I was saying earlier that the Wildcats are heavily favored. We're not going to say blowout. Certainly, Ross, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we are hoping for a big win for our Sulphur Springs Wildcats. Paris has struggled this season, unfortunately for them. I think only winning one game so far in their season. And so we'll see kind of how it goes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and we do have some common opponents, and we'll talk more about this, but they have played Liberty Ilo. That was their second game, and they fell to the Leopards 28-0, and that was a game we played on homecoming and won convincingly 24-6. So, of course, you can't use a transitive property as law, but it stands to reason that the Wildcats should have a pretty good game. Also, they've already played Community, and they lost by 7, whereas we beat them by, I believe, 20, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and check the notes, but the opening kickoff is away. It goes to the Wildcats. Fair catch called for, and it is taken in just shy of the 30 by number 17.
Yes.
That's Tristan Hankins.
Yes, right there. Wildcats are going to be starting on their own 29-yard line. The J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff there received by the Wildcats, and no advancement as he called for the fair catch. And so here comes your first down. The of course Hooten's Hardware first down for your Wildcats as they start on the 20. I noticed they had three Wildcats back deep for that kickoff, and then the kickoff came short. So that was kind of odd to have three back deep for that. One of them almost on the goal line, I guess because of the wind.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, but it looks like C.J. Williams is in the backfield with Driver. So once again, Malachi Rowland not in the backfield with Driver, and quickly Driver has a beautiful catch on the outside to Skylar Lewis that easily makes its way across the 50.
Yes, Skylar Lewis taking that pass, and he looked like he was going to pick up quite a bit of yardage, and he got pushed out of bounds at the 48-yard line on the Paris side. So the Wildcats already across midfield. Here comes your Hooten's Hardware first down.
First play from scrimmage, an explosive play for Skylar Lewis going 23 yards, and he tries to quickly dump it out in the flat to C.J. Williams, but C.J. can't come down with the catch. It's an incomplete.
Yes, that was a good thrown ball there. I guess he just C.J. just lost it, maybe looked upfield too fast before he got in possession of that ball, and it fell to the ground.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's one of those classic cases of a wide receiver or running back getting a reception or getting the ball and seeing how much green grass he has to work with him and just getting too ahead of himself. Incomplete. 2nd and 10, still at the 48. Driver still has CJ in the backfield with him, and once again he puts it out to CJ, and this time CJ comes down with it, and thanks to a great ceiling block by number 14 on the outside, Chris Adams, that is pretty close to yardage needed for a first down.
Yeah, they're going to mark him a little short, it looks like, right at the 40-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down, maybe 2. I think the Wildcats are going to be able to pick this up. A good second effort there, as he did pick up that great block and made up that yardage.
So Driver with an uber heavy package, and they draw them offside. So it will be a first down without even having to snap the ball.
Yeah, so easy enough. Good play call there by the offensive coordinator to draw them offsides. And that's going to move the ball right to the 35-yard line on the Paris side and give the Wildcats a new set of downs.
So just over a minute into this game, the Wildcats are getting pretty close to knocking on red zone territory.
Absolutely.
At the 35, Driver in the shotgun. He's got CJ with him in the backfield. Matthew Mitchell as the B-back. Mitchell with a nice ceiling block on the outside, but instead CJ takes it right up the gut for a gain of about 4 yards.
He got wrapped up by number 11 on the Paris side there, and they kind of saved. He kind of saved the day for a big gain by CJ there. Picked up, about 4? It's going to be 2nd and 6 as smoke billowing across the field from the campfire since the wind's out of the south and the Buford Park is to the south.
Driver, 3 wide receivers on the left side. He's looking left all the way, but he is quickly met by several Paris athletes in the backfield for a sack.
Yes, looks like number 10 in on the tackle for Paris there. Wrapped him up and didn't let him go. Big drop for loss of yardage back all the way back to, that's going to be the 42-yard line. So that's going to make it 3rd and 17, Ross.
Yeah, big loss, just as you were talking about on the sack of quarterback Brady Driver. It's a loss of 11. Sets up a much more difficult 3rd and 17.
Yeah, we have some personnel switching out. Number 32 coming in for your Wildcats, your Sulphur Springs team.
So Driver has 4 men, and instead they opt for the screen, but it was read beautifully by the Paris defense for a loss of 2. So 2 straight plays losing yardage, and now we'll see if the punt team starts heading out.
Yeah.
Looks like they are.
Yeah, they're just going to have to. I'm thinking, Ross, because they're just way too far back now, and it looks like they're going to go for it. Maybe
Well, I can understand the reasoning. Right now at the 44-yard line of Paris, you get, say, 10 yards. It more or less gives them the ball right where they'd start at kickoff. So
right.
I can understand it, but 4th and 19, that's 20
That's pretty
yards.
bold.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm thinking they're going to pass. Oh, no, he's going to quick kick it and punt.
So maybe trying to catch Paris off guard. There is a man back. It's number 5. He is able to break a tackle. He stays inbounds on the far side and makes it close to the 35 for Paris, but it looks like he'll be stopped just about there.
Yes, he was quickly wrapped up there. Special teams on the run back there by number 59, Sean Dial, who wrapped up that Paris Wildcat and spun him around, threw him to the ground. So the Paris Wildcats are going to be starting off at the 35-yard line on their own 35. That's going to be their 1st and 10, and your Sulphur Springs Wildcats are ready on defense.
So they hand it off on the first play and get pretty nice yardage, a medium gain of 5.
Yes. It's going to be number 26, the ball carrier for Paris.
Yes, number 26. We'll be calling his number quite a bit. Tadrick Dawson, one of the many players to watch here on this Paris team. Last season, he rushed for over 700 yards and got 9 rushing scores for Paris. And they're going to be relying on him pretty heavily here in this game, and able to get a pass out of the flat. And a nice play there to, I believe that was Trevin Hohenberger, who is able to get first down yardage. A gain of 10 on that one.
Yes, that's going to move the Paris team on up, right up to midfield. They're going to start their new set of downs right on the 50-yard line. So Wildcats need to dial it up on defense here and kind of put a stop to this drive that Paris is having.
Oh boy. Chad, I know you weren't there for last week's game, but
Yes,
Paris
sir.
just quickly rushed up to the line of scrimmage after breaking the huddle. That's something that Maybank, their opponent last Friday, did every single play. So at the second they break the huddle, they are up at the line ready to snap the play.
Well, it's certainly a good strategy for teams to catch the defense off guard. 7:30 left in the first quarter here. 0-0 for all the Wildcats. Paris versus Sulphur Springs. Paris has the ball. They're in Sulphur Springs territory. I just can't give it up. And on the 45 of the Sulphur Springs side.
Paris 0-2 in district play, and the last thing you want to be is 0-3 heading to Anna next Friday. But wow, the quarterback taking it on with his legs and able to get another first down.
Yeah, he did a great job of scrambling and getting around the end there, and he got out of bounds, but just enough for a first down. So they're going to start their new set of downs on the Sulphur Springs 38-yard line. Yes, a little under the weather last week. I feel much better. Not COVID. Nobody's going to catch COVID from listening in on the ball game tonight. Everybody's safe, Ross.
So it looks like they're operating out of the wing tee on this one. And once again, Hohenberger is able to break a tackle, breaks towards the near sideline, and is inside the 20 before he is shoved out. And he is having his way here on this first drive.
Yes, a great run by their quarterback, and he's certainly trying to dial it up on their offense and catching our defense off guard, and he did so. A great job running out of bounds there in the red zone. They're going to be 1st and 10 on the Wildcats' 17-yard line.
So quickly, number 6 comes from the far sideline. That's Jeremiah Banda, who comes in with the play for the offense. Quickly, Paris breaks the huddle, and they are just about set to snap it. And there it is. They hand it off to number 26, and he instead decides to break it outside and gets significant yardage on that play. 9 yards on the rush.
Yes, a good run by that young man, and good tackle there on the Wildcat. See again, Landon Fields and Riley Hammonds in on the tackle for your Sulphur Springs Wildcats.
So just shy of a new set of downs is Paris. They're at the 8-yard line for Sulphur Springs, and Hohenberger hands it off to his workhorse, who just powers his way to just shy of the end zone.
Yes, they've got down. Gosh, it's going to be in feet, not yards. It looks like they're going to put it right on the 1-yard line there. And it's 1st and goal for Paris. on the 1 yard line. So they're making quick work. Looks like they've done a little practice here.
Hohenberger has it, and he takes it in for a touchdown. Paris takes the opening drive for them on offense in the end zone for a touchdown, and they currently lead 6-0.
5:54 left in this first quarter. We await the extra point try for Paris. So kind of surprising. Their defense did well against our offense, and their offense did very well by moving the ball all the way down the field and getting into the end zone. So.
And wow, almost a nice block there by Landon Fields on the PAT, but wasn't able to get to it in time. The kick is good. It's a 7-0 lead for Paris with just about halfway into this first quarter.
We'll take a break, and we'll be back with you with the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. And we're back at Gerald Prim Stadium, where the Paris Wildcats have 7 points on the board. Your Sulphur Springs Wildcats have yet to make it into the end zone. They sit at 0 right now. 5:54 left in this first quarter as Sulphur Springs is back with three receivers back inside the 5 yard line to receive the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. So let's see who we've got back here, Ross. Number 5, of course, CJ. Looks like 14's going to get it. No, CJ
it will
picks it
be
up.
CJ, and he has to kind of dive on it, and he gets a big hit on the ground as he has to come down with it inside the 10. It looks like at the 9 yard line.
Yes, it kind of rolled on back, and nobody could get to it. CJ fell on it and got popped right as he was getting onto the ball, and could not advance it. Just a factor of some strong wind from the south. I believe it looks like the wind's picking up. The flags are getting a little straighter out there, and I see more smoke coming from the campfire. So your Sulphur Springs Wildcats will start their 1st and 10. The Hootens Hardware first down from their own 9 yard line.
Coach Brandon Fairclough's team going to have to get a big response if they want to kind of start to drive momentum back in their direction, because after they looked very promising on the opening drive of the game, they unfortunately had to punt it away after 2 plays in the wrong direction. Then Paris, I don't want to say that they walked into the end zone, but they ran hard into the end zone.
Well, yes, and getting all the way down 1st and goal on the 1 yard line, then they did walk it in on that next play. They've got some good play calling so far on their offense. So hopefully your Sulphur Springs Wildcats can dial it up here, 2nd and looks like about 9.
And so Driver operating out of an empty backfield, 5 wide, and there are quickly men in his face who tackle him inside the 5. Wow.
Yes, very unfortunate for the quarterback there he got chased back well into his backfield there. And it's going to be a loss of about 6 yards, looks like, Ross. That's going to make it 3rd and 15, and they're sitting on about the 4.5 yard line.
Well, and the issue is starting the drive at your own 9, and now since it looks like they potentially won't even get a first down, they'll more than likely have to punt it out of their own end zone.
Oh yes, really need to get some yardage here. We've got 2 receivers out to the right, 1 in motion, 1 to the.
And they hand it off to C.J. Williams. C.J. is able to break 1 tackle, but can't break the second wave, where he is taken down pretty shy of the original first down marker.
It's definitely going to be punt time for your Sulphur Springs team, as they're going to be switching out personnel there. Got the special teams coming out. No trick play on this one. They're going to definitely punt it. Our punter standing right in the middle of the H of Sulphur in his own end zone.
So if it wasn't bad enough that they punted on their last drive, this drive ends with a very quick 3 and out. Driver gets it. He's got a pretty nice punt. It gets across the Wildcat 45 and is fallen on by a Wildcat just shy of the 50.
Yep, number 60 there fell on the punt from special teams, and so that going to give Paris a wonderful field position, as they're already on the Sulphur Springs side of the 50. Drew Hodges was who fell on that for our special teams on the Wildcats. The Sulphur Springs team.
So now we'll see what Paris can do on a short field with less than 50 yards to the end zone. They already lead 7-0. Going to see if they can't lead in a big way, 14-0 potentially. But rushing straight into the first wave, he was met by a sea of blue as the Wildcats took him down for a minimal gain.
Yes, it's time to get some momentum changing here for Sulphur Springs because it's all going the wrong way. I shouldn't have said the word blowout early on and predicting it the wrong way. I hope not. A little over 3 minutes left in this first quarter.
So the Wildcats playing press coverage, and they instead hand it off on the outside, and Paris is able to bounce off one tackler. That's number 13 on the rush, Aldrin Gill, but quickly met by the second wave of defenders.
Yes, absolutely. He was wrapped up by Landon Fields and taken to the ground, and only picked up a yard or two. That's going to make it 3rd and about 7 for them, looks like, Ross. And this is where Wildcat defense really needs to dial it up and stop them right here, change this momentum of this game.
3rd and 7. Trevin Hohenberger is able to break one tackle, tries to take it outside, but he will be taken down at right about the line of scrimmage, if not a gain of 1. And decision time now for Stephen Hohenberger of Paris.
Yes, he was wrapped up by about 11 members of the Sulphur Springs team as they all joined in on trying to tackle him. But he's quite an athlete. He stayed up and kept on fighting. But it's 4th and 6 for Paris, and they're going for it. Or they showed that they're going for it. They may be trying to draw Sulphur Springs offsides, get a little closer, make it a little shorter, 4th and 1 instead of 4th and 6.
Looks like they're going to have to call a timeout. They're running out of time on the play clock. And, Stephen Hohenberger has to call a timeout on that far sideline, and I know he's not happy about it because I can tell him and his team, they wanted to go for it.
Well, and there's a yellow flag. They didn't get that timeout called soon enough, and they're going to probably take the delay of game because they know they're going to punt it anyway. They're going to back it up 5 yards. It's going to put it right at the 49-yard line, and the Paris is back to punt. And for the Sulphur Springs, we've got CJ, and then we've got Cooper Faircloth also back to receive the punt.
CJ waves everyone off and catches it just north of the 10-yard line at about the 12.5-yard line, it looks like.
Oh, unfortunately, familiar territory for Sulphur Springs. They're going to be pushed back. Starting there, Hooten's Hardware first down from the 12-yard line, their own 12-yard line. Just a minute 19 left in this first quarter. Paris up 7-0 over Sulphur Springs. We're here at Gerald Prim Stadium. The wind's died down just a little bit, Ross. Hopefully that will stay that way for a little bit, but the Wildcats really need to get something moving here.
And just as you were talking about, their previous drive started on the 9. Not much better now at their own 13, but I'm sure they'll take that as opposed to having their guys in the end zone. So Cooper Faircloth gets a reception from Driver. He breaks one tackle, makes a man miss, and is tackled shy of the 20 at about the 19-yard line. So it looks like a gain of 6 on that one.
Yeah, good second effort there by Cooper Faircloth as he's trying to get some more yardage, and he got it. So that's we need a momentum changer for this game. 55 seconds and counting in this first quarter. They're going to have to get another play off. 20 seconds on the play clock. We'll be switching into the field here pretty quick, but hopefully we can get a first down before we do so.
And big trap play, and they hand it off, and the misdirection to no avail. C.J. Williams is wrapped up for a big loss. In fact, that'll just about return them to the original line of scrimmage. A loss of 4 on that one.
Yes, they're going to be 3rd and 9, a third and a very important 3rd and long here. They're probably going to let this clock run out. 15 seconds on the game clock. More than that on the play clock. Let's see if they try to snap. It's a big play.
Driver just pointed to the clock, and I wasn't sure if he was going to go for it. Driver Doesn't see any men downfield, so he takes off with it himself, and he's got some green grass to work with. Great ceiling block on the far side, and Driver has himself a huge game. What was originally at the 14-yard line is all the way up past the 40 to the 44-yard line.
A big 30-yard gain for Brady Driver, who took it himself and ran east and west on the field as well to try to get on up there. What a great play. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. Paris 7, Sulphur Springs 0. We'll be back in just a moment for the start of the second quarter here at Gerald Prim Stadium.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium, folks. Believe it or not, we're already entering the second quarter, and I just checked my watch, and at 18 minutes, that's got to be one of the fastest first quarters we've done, not only this season, but in the 2 years I've been here. Well, now 3.
Right. Yes. No
quick.
penalties except for the delay of game, and, just a lot of running plays, not a lot of incomplete passes, so I guess that kind of counted the clock down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's kind of something the Wildcats have been up against the last 2 weeks at Maybank, and then, of course, versus Community, a lot of running teams, so the clock is just draining itself. But Sulphur Springs heading in now into the second quarter. They trail 7-0. They do have the ball, and they have a Hooten's Hardware first down at their own 44-yard line. They fake the handoff to CJ. Driver was looking downfield at one of his men. I believe that's Cooper Faircloth on the far side. Yes, it is, but incomplete.
Yes, he was getting a lot of pressure there by the Paris defender number 1, and it became a track meet, but unfortunately Brady Driver was running backwards, and so he had to dump it off there to the far side of the field and just kind of send it out of bounds.
That was wide receiver and defensive back two-way player Corday Cooper, and very talented athlete, one of the top juniors on this team at 6'2", 180, and a 4.6 40 time. They hand it off on this play, and it looks like CJ just ran into a pile of bodies, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got nothing on that one.
Yeah, that was a brick wall there, and the official on the far side of the field was marking the ball as not moving. So that's going to make it 3rd and 10 for your Sulphur Springs Wildcats as they trail 7-0 against Paris.
So something Sulphur Springs has been facing a pretty high amount of here through this game is not only does the scoreboard reflect their offensive struggles through the first quarter, but they faced, and a large part is that due by a lot of 3rd and longs, but beautiful play to Skylar Lewis. He is all alone, 30, 25, 20. No one's going to catch him. 5 touchdown Wildcats. Wow.
Well,
56 yards.
Yes, a fantastic play. And Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go Wildcats, as he takes that reception and runs, like you say, 56 yards to the house and puts 6 points on the board for the Wildcats. So awaiting the extra point for Sulphur Springs, and if they can put that through the uprights, which we have great confidence in Mr. Santa Cruz, then it'll be a tie ball game. 11:03 left in this second quarter.
Extra point kick is up. It's good. So your Wildcats have just tied it up, not even a minute into the second quarter. Both teams with 7 apiece.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with you here at Gerald Prim Stadium in just a moment.
Welcome back out to Gerald Prim Stadium. It's Friday, October 21st, and KSST Radio brings you Wildcat football as they host Paris. It's been a tight one here as Sulphur Springs just scored their first touchdown on the night, and we've got a tied ball game, 7-7, with just over a minute into the second quarter.
Yes, a great explosive play there for the Wildcats to put 6 points on the board, and then with the extra point, they've tied it up 7-7. 11:03 left in this second quarter, and here comes your J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff. Booming kick all the way in and out of the end zone, so there's not even a chance for Paris to field that and run it back. They'll start on the 25-yard line and be making their way into the Sulphur Springs defense, hopefully not very far, the 20-yard line. And, well, where are they going to mark it? Should be the 25, shouldn't it? There it is. Now they're moving to the 25.
After internal discussions,
that's right,
we have determined The ball will be placed at the 25.
They didn't listen to me the first time. So, yeah, so Sulphur Springs defense back on the field here and trying to change the momentum of this game and get the ball back.
Well, that was not the reception that Trevin Hohenberger was hoping for, because it wasn't a reception at all. He tried to dump it out in the flat to number 25 on that one. That was Keyshawn Roberts, but Roberts just couldn't come down with it in the flat.
Yes, I don't know if the ball slipped out of his hand when he threw that, but it was a quick snap and a quick throw. Maybe he didn't have his hand on the laces good enough and just didn't get some control on that ball. Looked like something I would throw.
So it looked like maybe they were thinking about passing or at least faking it, but instead Trevin Hohenberger is just stiff-arming Wildcat defenders for a first down.
Yes, and that was Ty Bybee that wrapped him up and took him out of bounds and to the ground. Thank goodness, because he broke 2 or 3 tackles there and was making it into the Wildcat Sulphur Springs secondary, and he was going to get a little farther down the field, I'm afraid. He got enough for a first down, so they'll start their new set of downs on their own 39-yard line.
Quickly hurrying to the line of scrimmage is Paris, set to begin a new set of downs on 1st and 10. Great patience by that running back, number 26, Tadrick Dawson, just patiently waiting for his holes to materialize so he can pop through and just as quickly get 5 or 6, maybe more yards. But on that one, just 2.
Yes, Wildcats stopped him a little short there, but just not sure if it's Paris has changed up their play calling and doing a better job of catching us off guard, or what the case may be.
3 wide receivers, 2 left, 1 right. They hand it off to number 26. That's Tadrick Dawson on the rush, and Dawson looks like he's picked up another first down. Yes, another rush of 10 yards.
Yeah, they're going to mark him past the 50-yard line, which is enough for a Paris first down. They're going to be in Wildcat territory on the Sulphur Springs Wildcat 49, and they start their new set of downs in Sulphur Springs territory.
So something to watch for sure is that if this is going to turn into a shootout, that of course means that both offenses have to keep up with one another. Oh wow, Jet Speep is greatly utilized as number 2. Marcavius Washington just zips through the Wildcat defense for another rush of 10 plus yards.
Yes, it's quite a run there. It gives them a new set of downs. I believe he was taken down by Ty Bybee again on the far side of the field.
So in just about, not even 2 minutes, Paris has moved almost 75 yards down the field. So having no issues rushing against this Wildcat defense, but running up the gut has left a little bit to be desired on that one, as another rush in between the tackles only amounts to about 3 yards.
Yeah, they're going to they'll just keep marching down the field. It's going to be second and about 6, let's call it 7 yards. They're inside the 35 on the Sulphur Springs side.
Under 9 minutes to go left here in the first half. Tie ball game, both teams deadlocked at 0, but Paris is driving at the Wildcat 34. It's a 2nd and 7, quickly dumping it out to the flat to number 2, Marcavius Washington, and Washington looks like will have enough yardage necessary for another first down.
Yes, and so the Paris team getting on the scoreboard first and putting 7 points up. The Sulphur Springs Wildcats answered just right at the beginning. No, right at the end of the beginning of the second quarter. That's what it was. And very quickly, an explosive play all the way to the end zone, tying it up 7-all. 8:15 left in this second quarter. But Paris is knocking on the red zone here. They're at about the 27-yard line, and it's 1st and 10 for them.
And another thing to watch is as long as Paris keeps running the ball down the Wildcats' throats, And a lot of broken tackles continue to add more yardage for a Paris drive. It's another first down. Wow.
Yes, he kept fighting there and taking a lot of Sulphur Springs defensive players with him all the way out to the other side of the field, going out of bounds, but not before he passed the sticks there to move those sticks into the red zone. That's going to be 1st and 10 for Paris on the 15-yard line.
So as Paris keeps staying on the field with their offense, we're going to have to keep watching that Wildcat defense and see how much they get tired out. So Hohenberger trying to look downfield for options, and man, quite a lot of speed that quarterback possesses as he just continues running sideline to sideline. And we've got a flag down. I imagine it might be a late hit out of bounds, but we'll see.
Flag on the play.
Yes, wait for the officials here. Yeah, it was tackled well outside the white portion of the out of bounds by a Wildcat, so that could be personal foul. Let's see that where we are now. If that's true, it'd be half the distance to the goal.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, 7, defense, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
And that's exactly what it was. Unsportsmanlike conduct for tackling way out of bounds there. So that's going to move it down. It's going to be 1st and goal now, about the 7-yard line. So a great break for Paris as they come quickly up to the line of scrimmage.
They're going to look to punch it in and go up a touchdown. They are currently tied 7-7, and man, they just cannot tackle this guy, Hohenberger. He is slippery.
Yes, the quarterback, a lot like a running back. He's got some really good size on him, but he also has a lot of agility and just jumped out of the way of about 4 tackles there in his own backfield. Finally running out of bounds, and that's going to move them all the way back where they were before, about the 15, let's call it the 14-yard line. So he lost about 7 yards on that scramble.
So is it 2nd and goal? The scoreboard has it at 2nd and 9, so I just want to make sure. Trevin Hohenberger looking downfield. He's got a man in the end zone, and it looks like he is in. Yes, he is in for a touchdown.
Well, a fantastic catch by number 5, it looks like, for the Paris offense. He barely had 2 feet in. But he got his hands on that ball and pulled it down, and he put 6 points on the board for Paris. It's going to be 13-7, awaiting the extra point. 7:35 left in this second quarter.
Extra kick coming out for Paris. They'll look to make it a 7-point game. And once again, looks like a Wildcat from Sulphur Springs was close to blocking it, but to no avail. The kick is good. It's 14-7 in favor of the visiting Paris Wildcats. And we're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors. But when we return, we'll have more Wildcat football coming right up.
And we're back at Gerald Prim Stadium. The Paris Wildcats are 14 over your Sulphur Springs Wildcats, 7 points. So kind of a surprising ball game so far this evening, Ross. It's 7:35 left in this first half, and your Wildcats are back to receive the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff, and we kind of thought this was going to be a blowout, but it's going the wrong way for Sulphur Springs right now.
Yeah, that's something I was a little worried about heading into this week, is the fact that the Wildcats, and we talked about this before we started the broadcast, is the fact that the Wildcats have to play at Kaufman, but the potential number 2 seed come playoff time, and then versus Anna in the senior night regular season closer. Kick is away. It's taken in by number 17.
Tristan Hankins picked that up for the Sulphur Springs Wildcats. He caught that about the 29-yard line. That's where Sulphur Springs will start their 1st and 10. Their Hooten's Hardware first down. So kind of deep in their own territory. Better than a couple of their other starts. So it's time for the Sulphur Springs Wildcats to get something moving. They've got to get some momentum going. They need to at least tie this up before the half ends. 7 minutes, 35 seconds left to go for that.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure that if they do go down the field and score, that they don't leave enough time on the clock for Paris to potentially add on a few more points going into halftime, just like you said. But C.J. Williams gets the first handoff on the drive for Sulphur Springs, and he gets a gain of, it looks like 6 on that one.
Yes, a good advancement there. So if Sulphur Springs can keep doing that play after play, it would change the momentum of this game. But it's going to be 2nd and 4 now. They've moved all the way up to their own 35-yard line, and so trying to make something happen here for Sulphur Springs.
Yeah, and just like I was talking about in the last drive, the Wildcats offense really needs to take up a significant amount of time so they can kind of give their defense a little bit of time to rest. Driver keeps himself on the keeper, and he's got some green grass to work with. My goodness, almost makes it up to midfield. Tackle just shy of it at the 49 for the Wildcats.
Oh, great play. That's just exactly what Sulphur Springs needs. Almost to midfield. They're going to be on their own 49 for this Hooten's Hardware first down. 6:51 left in this second quarter and in the first half. So time for Sulphur Springs to, I'm looking for another big explosive play like they had earlier. They went, at least 50 yards for that first touchdown.
Driver looking downfield again, and he's got Skylar Lewis. Makes a man miss with a juke and walks out of bounds at about the 37-yard line for Paris. Good enough for a Hooten's Hardware first down.
Yes, absolutely. Deep. A little deeper, not real deep, but kind of. They're already in Paris territory. That's what we're looking for. So good reception there by CJ, and just too many defenders had to step out of bounds there. But now Sulphur Springs is on the Paris 37-yard line, marching down the field.
So Cooper Faircloth in motion, sweeping left, and instead they hand it off to CJ running up the gut, and he only gets a yard on the rush.
Yeah, he got wrapped up, never got taken down, but the official blew the whistle as he was deep in his own backfield, but they gave him his forward progress of 1 yard. So that's going to be a gain on the play, and it's going to be 2nd and 9. So the no harm, no foul. It could have been a lot worse if they had let him keep running and got tackled way back there. But
no, absolutely. So on this play on 2nd and 9, the Wildcats, 4 wide receivers, 2 left, 2 right in the backfield, with driver is number 32, Rose Luke. Oh, and Rose Luke drops the handoff on the rush.
My goodness.
Driver has to fall down on it at the line of scrimmage, so we'll bring up a 3rd and 10.
Yes, Brady Driver saved the day on that. The handoff either didn't get completed or just got looked like he had it there for a second, just dropped it, and Brady Driver fell on it. Back to the original line of scrimmage. They gave up that 1 yard that they had gained. That's going to make it 3rd and 10 for the Wildcats. Big 3rd and long play here. We've got 2 receivers near and 2 receivers on the far side. So I'm thinking pass play, Ross.
I think you're exactly right. After fumbling the snap, Rose Luke instead subs out, and Driver, looks like maybe there was some miscommunication there, and Driver just has to kind of keep it himself and rush into the huge wave of defenders for a gain of just 1. Brings up 4th and 9.
Yes, and now, I'm not sure what happened on that play. He dropped back and didn't get the he saw the big rush coming, so he tried to run it right up the middle, and he got closed off pretty fast. And so as they're discussing it with the sideline here, they're keeping Brady Driver in for the moment, and looks like they're going for it on 4th and 9. Well, they're on the 37-yard line. They need the points. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first half, so here it comes.
And Driver on the bootleg. He's looking downfield. And wow, CJ comes down with it somehow. It went through the hands of the defender, but CJ still somehow came down with it and takes it all the way to the 10-yard line.
A great pass by Brady Driver. It looked like it was going to be intercepted, but right off the fingertips of the Paris player and into CJ's hands, and he took it all the way down to the 10-yard line. 1st and goal for Sulphur Springs for this Hooten's Hardware first down. That was a fantastic play, Ross.
Boy, it sure was, and exactly what they needed as they put it all the way into the red zone, 10 yards out of the end zone, and the Wildcats still trail by 7, but now they can chew off oh my goodness.
Oh.
And driver and the running back, CJ, miscommunication, and the snap just falls to the ground, and a Paris player comes down with it, and a huge turnover by the Wildcats.
Yes, we certainly didn't need that, but you're right, just a miscommunication. Didn't make the handoff complete there, and just popped right out, and a Paris player was right there and went right down on the ground. And so it's going to be 1st and 10 for Paris at their own 14-yard line. 4 minutes and 13 seconds left in this second quarter. Paris 14 over Sulphur Springs 7.
Man, I can tell you one thing. When I talk to Coach Faircloth this next week, he is not going to be too happy talking about his team's offense, especially here in the first half. It has been one to forget, especially when you consider that all 4 of the previous games, the Wildcats have scored 21-plus points. So just a really rough first half for the Wildcat offense. But Paris and their offense back out on the field, and they have 4 minutes to at least get a field goal. Potentially, they're going to be thinking for more, though.
Yeah, screen pass out to Tadrick Dawson on the Paris team, and he motored on up there for about 5 yards. That's going to make it 2nd and 5 for Paris. 4:05. He went out of bounds, too, so he stopped the clock. 4:05 left in this first half, and the Sulphur Springs defense really going to have to dial it up and keep Paris from putting more points on the board, because it's going to make it very lopsided for this first half if they can get some more points on the board.
And Hohenberger keeps it himself, runs into the first line, and doesn't get much gain. It looks like just a gain of 1.
Yeah, they're going to move they moved that marker about 2 feet. They're going to make it a yard. It's going to make it 3rd down and about 4. Ball's on the 20-yard line on the Paris end of the field. Paris with the ball. Very unfortunate. Boy, the defense not only needs to keep some points off the board, they need to get the ball back for the Sulphur Springs Wildcat offense. So let's see if they can do it here right now. It's big 3rd down play for everybody.
Also something to think about, if Paris scores a touchdown on this drive, well, it definitely won't come on that play, but if they were to score a touchdown, it's especially noteworthy because Paris gets the ball to start the second half.
Oh, that's, yeah. No, yes. That no gain on that, so that's going to be 4th down and 5. 4th and 4, they're going to call it. And that's going to be a timeout for Sulphur Springs so they can talk about it. We're going to take a break with them. We'll be back after a short break.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium here on Friday, October 21st. We're here in the closing minutes of the first half, and your Wildcats trail by 7, 14-7. However, Paris does look set to punt it away. They have a 4th and 4 at their own 20-yard line.
They're going to have to punt it, Ross, and I've got Cooper Faircloth and C.J. Williams right at the 50-yard line. So Sulphur Springs, and it's a short punt.
A short punt indeed. In fact, I was about to say I don't think it got to the 35, and they'll mark it right there.
Way out of bounds there, almost came up into the stands. So this is going to be fairly good field position for Sulphur Springs with a short time on the clock, 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Sulphur Springs has 2 of their timeouts left, I believe, after taking that one. Trying to regroup and see what Paris was going to do on that punt, and turned out well for Sulphur Springs. They're going to have their Hootens Hardware first down on the Paris 35-yard line.
So as I was just talking about on Paris's last drive on offense,
yes, sir.
They get the ball to start the second half, so Sulphur Springs really needs to get a touchdown here on this drive before the opening half ends. Otherwise, Paris could get a touchdown on the first drive on offense and once again make this a 7-point game, but it looks like CJ fumbled.
Well, it looks like he was already, they may have called him already down there.
Salvador Gomez on the tackle after 5 yards.
Well, either way, it's a 5-yard gain. The Wildcats do recover it, whether it was CJ or another Sulphur Springs athlete. It's a bit hard to say, but 2nd and 5 now, and 2.5 and ticking.
Yes, and the ball on the Paris 30-yard line. Sulphur Springs taking their time to get up to the line of scrimmage. Here they go. They're getting ready.
4 down linemen for Paris. 3 linebackers and a standard 4 defensive backs. And wow, not a great ceiling block there by Skylar Lewis, as CJ wasn't able to get much of anything on that one. They'll call it a gain of about 2.5.
Yep, looks like it. It's going to make it a short, 3rd and short for Sulphur Springs, but they're letting the clock tick down 2 minutes and counting as the Sulphur Springs Wildcats are trying to get some more points on the board. They really kind of need to step it up, I think, Ross. Minute 50.
Yeah,
CJ couldn't quite get out of bounds on that one. Stop the clock.
Taking a little too much time getting the play in, getting the ball snapped. I think they're being a little too loosely relaxed, as the golf coach Jeremy Lorge calls it. But CJ on the handoff, it looks like they have enough yards for the first down, but
they could mark it short. It's really going to be imperative that the ball spot here. And they're laying the clock.
And they will say it is a first down.
So a new set of downs for Sulphur Springs. A minute 16 and counting. And the Sulphur Springs team is leisurely coming up to the line of scrimmage. 108, 107. They're going to have to get this ball snapped and then start using some timeouts.
Yeah, they must have some kind of explosive play dialed up, because they have taken about a minute and a half to go 10 yards down the field, and all that time off the clock, and it came up with an incompletion, some severe miscommunication for the Wildcat offense.
Yes, nobody covering one of the Paris defenders. He didn't break through the line. There was no line for him to break through. He came around the end and put a lot of pressure on Brady Driver there to make him throw that ball and get rid of it and stop the clock. 52 seconds left in this first half. Paris 14, Sulphur Springs 7. Your Sulphur Springs Wildcats are knocking on the door of the red zone, but they need to make something move pretty quick because there's only 52 ticks on the clock. Ross.
Yeah, and not to mention that they have just 2 timeouts to work with, but 5 wide. Driver looking downfield. He's got CJ in the end zone. Touchdown. There it is.
Yes, what a beautiful play. Long pass to the corner of the end zone, and Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go Wildcats, as C.J. Williams hauls it in for that touchdown. Well, that only took 6 seconds off the clock, so they knew what they were doing. They didn't need to listen to us. Ross, they knew exactly what they were doing.
I'm glad they did, because I was getting real concerned, because, right before they got off that 25-yard receiving touchdown to CJ, I mean, just as I was talking about, they took a minute and a half off to go 10 yards. I was a little confused there, but the extra point kick is up, and it's good, so we've got a tied ball game here with just under a minute to go in the first half.
We'll take a break and be back with you in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium. Wildcat football just scored the equalizer as C.J. Williams caught a beautiful ball from quarterback Brady Driver and took it just about, at that point, I think he was already in the end zone when he caught the ball. It was a beautiful spiral on a beautiful fade route from CJ. Tie ball game, 14-all. And now Paris gets it with just under a minute to go in the first half. 46 seconds left. And just as I've been mentioning, they'll get the ball to start the second half, so they'll see if they can't get some kind of points here.
Yep, Paris back 3 deep to receive the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff, and here it comes. It's a squibbler.
And kind of falls by a Paris Wildcat. He does scoop it up. It's number 5. He starts to reverse field, breaks a number of tackles. He refuses to go down, but is taken down inside the 20 at the 18.
Yes, it looked like to me he stepped out of bounds over there, but I'm not sure.
So that return did take 8 seconds off the clock. Now just 38 left to go in the first half.
It'd be great to go to the lockers with tie ball game at this point. It was kind of a nasty first half there, Ross.
Yeah, it sure was, and I think the fact that Coach Fairclaw's team is even tied right now is a major testament to their explosivity as an offense. I mean, the defense hasn't been able to get a whole lot of stops. The offense, for a vast majority of the first 2 quarters, struggled to chain together first downs, move the ball downfield. It wasn't until the second quarter that the Wildcats could score. But a rush on first down, they'll just continue to let the clock run. So it looks like this is how this first half will end. They do still have all 3 timeouts, Paris does, but at their own 22-yard line, 2nd and 7.
And they're letting the clock tick down. This is going to be about it.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and they get the playoff. Trevin Hohenberger, and yes, he will keep it himself. He does have a lead blocker, but he will not have enough yardage necessary for either a first down nor a touchdown. So that's how the first half will end, as both teams are deadlocked at 14.
Yes, we're going to take a break here for halftime. Be back. We'll try to have an interview and then some discussion about the first half and what's in store for the second half. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you for halftime festivities here at Gerald Prim Stadium in just a moment. And welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium. While the Paris band and drill team is going to be playing in the background, I've got Joel Skipper in the booth tonight during halftime. A little interview. Joel,
yes,
good
sir.
Evening.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Good evening.
Yes, and we're glad to have you here. And Joel is the skipper of, I know you've never heard that, of the culinary department at Sulphur Springs High School, and I just can't say enough good things about what you've done and how well that department is run, Joel.
Thank you very much. We're excited to be part of the Press Box Meals. It gives, it's one of those opportunities that the kids get to actually get some work done and do some things and learn some things, and it gets some experience under their belt with different food service presentations.
Yes, not only are the meals fantastic when we come up here, I talk about this every game, and we go to other press boxes. Of course, we go to away games. We've been all over Northeast Texas over the past few years, and without a doubt, now there's some other culinary programs at other schools, not that many, but without a doubt, our Sulphur Springs culinary department is head and shoulders above anything that we ever encounter anywhere in our district or beyond.
Well, thank you very much. We try.
Yeah, and tell me, how many students do you have enrolled in the culinary department, I guess?
In my particular classes, I've got about 40, and in the entire program, I want to say we're close to or a little over 100 students.
Right, and now this is your first year on the program.
This is my first year at Sulphur Springs. This is my 8th year teaching. I
see. And, well, yes, you're right. It's the first year in Sulphur Springs, and tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I went to culinary school. I came into food service a little bit late. I'd always enjoyed cooking. It's one of those things that relaxes me, actually,
right.
Just being in the kitchen. Went to culinary school in my early 30s, and I started out at the 5-star hotel in Dallas, and spent a few years there, and then was able to work for a chef named Tim Byers, who was voted by Food and Wine magazine as one of the top chefs of the Southwest, and eventually won a James Beard Award for his cookbook. And
wow!
And then got into teaching, and just absolutely loved it. And what I've always tried to do throughout my teaching is pass along those experiences and those standards and those high levels of success and what we do, what I did at the hotel and what I did with Chef Byers, pass those kinds of traits and characteristics along to our students. Oh, yes, and it certainly shows because, like I say, not only is the food wonderful every game that we're here, and you can just see it in the not only all of the guests that they have and all of the Sulphur Springs side of the staff, that the coaching staff and all the folks that are on the Sulphur Springs side, but then when our visiting teams come in, well, their eyes light up. Those coaches, of course, are in the same press box, and they get to share in that. And I know they're very impressed as well. And not only with the food, but with the service that the students provide. And they know everything, because I kind of quiz them. I already know what it is by looking, but I kind of quiz them. And so there some wonderful looking Brussels sprouts tonight, which I'm sure they were great. But I think I've reached my lifetime maximum on Brussels sprouts. But then the pork chops, we had pork chops tonight, and
mashed sweet potatoes, and I mean just not your typical press box food that we're used to when we go. Sometimes they just point to the concession stand for us, at other places. And so tell me, what are you, obviously you're preparing these students for food service later in life, but what are some of their goals? Where are they wanting to go with what they're learning in your program?
Well, one of the things we try to do is we obviously want to give them the skills to be able to go obtain that entry-level line cook position at your higher-end restaurants.
Sure.
But there are some of them that may not ever want to do that, which is fine. But this will also give them the foundation if they want to go into, say, hospitality and tourism or food and beverage side of culinary or food service. It gives them that great foundation, and they can transition into a hospitality and tourism program at a four-year university quite easily.
Sure.
And have a lot of success because of what we do in our program. And I've had previous students that have done exceptionally well and absolutely loved it. Because even though you may not want to be in the kitchen, that's great. There's a huge support industry around what goes on in the kitchen.
Right. And, it's kudos to you and the administration at Sulphur Springs, because they're offering this program and they're supporting that program and obviously brought you in this year to continue what they've been building on the past few years. And it's something other than regular academics and regular sports that of course, they provide a lot of that for a lot of different students, but it's just something else to offer to these students that they can use later in life. And I just have to applaud not only you but the administration for carrying that forward.
Well, I'm excited that they brought me here. They have been just incredibly and exceptionally supportive of what we do, and that is very, very refreshing, and it's very comforting to know, from the board to Mr. Lamb all the way down to Mr. Williams and Jenny Arledge, who's our CTE director.
Right.
It's incredible that we have that level of support across the board, and it makes it a really, really, to me, it makes it a really special place to be.
Yes, absolutely. And so tell me, so some of these kids will be going into a hospitality program into college, and they get a lot of experience here at these ball games. Do you do anything else, or what other things do you do outside of this to kind of hone their skills in this this vocation?
With this being my first year here, it's one of those things that we're going to kind of build into. I did stop by the chamber earlier this week and drop off kind of our little packaged catering menu. But the simple answer is we can do events for pretty much any entity or organization that's outside the school system. We can make that happen. You want us to provide your catering? Give me a shout. Get in touch with the school or get in touch with me.
Right.
We can sit down and visit with you about it, and I would like to provide those opportunities for our students, so they get an opportunity to actually go and execute those events and prepare those meals, and because you really learn by doing, and that's
absolutely
the vast majority of students in my experience that have come through my programs have really learned by doing and executing the various methods of food service types that we've done, and like I say, we are available for those things.
Great. Well, that's fantastic, and it certainly shows that that's working. And I can assure you that really I try to pay attention to how that program is done, and it is just very successful, very impressive. So,
thank you very much.
Mr. Skinner, Joel, thank you for coming in and talking with us about that. Thank you for what you're doing for the students and for our school district, and we wish you many years of continued success in
Thank
that.
You very much. Pleasure to be here, and I look forward to many years to doing what we're doing.
We're going to take a break and listen to some of our halftime sponsors now, and then we'll be back with the Wildcat Band here in just a little bit. And welcome back to Gerald Prem Stadium, where we're in the middle of halftime, and the Paris Wildcat Band will be leaving the field, and Sulphur Springs will be getting set up here in just a moment. A great interview. Thanks for sticking around and tuning into that with Joel Skinner, the Joel Skipper with the culinary department at Sulphur Springs High School, is doing a great job. And, well, Ross, we've got us a ball game here. It's going to be tied up to start the second half, and it's not that blowout that we thought it was going to be.
No, and that was something I was kind of worried about is, next week Wildcat football has to play at Kaufman, and I imagine they'll be either the 2 seed or the 3 seed. And then the week after that, to round out the regular season, Sulphur Springs has to host Anna, which is unquestionable. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Wildcat football, but They look to be running away with the district crown because they still haven't lost a district game. They still haven't lost a game, period.
Right.
So, and they've been blowing out opponents, but yeah, so that's something I was kind of worried about was the fact that this could be a track game for Sulphur Springs in the sense that they could overlook Paris, kind of start to look ahead at the 2 opponents next. And I was just worried that, that they would kind of overlook them a little bit. But that kind of seems to maybe have been the case here early. In fact, and I almost mentioned it, I kind of noticed that Sulphur Springs was, I don't want to say getting out coached, but it definitely looked like they were kind of surprised a little bit.
Yeah, the defense is going to have to step it up because the offense for Paris is very quick to come to the line. So here comes the Sulphur Springs High School Blue Blazes. We're going to listen to them. We'll be back with you here in just a second.
Sergeants for this year are Jocelyn Arenas, Peyton Ball, Sarah Voss, and Macy Williams. Officers for the 2022-2023 line are Junior Lieutenants Carter Charlton and Jackie Monroy. Senior Lieutenants Emily James and Sally Spraggins. Co-Captain Jocelyn Yanez. And your Captain Olivia Worth. The Blazes want to send a special shout out to their Blazes of the Week, the 2022-2023 Blue Blaze officers, as they did an outstanding job on this week's choreography, and their Spirit Girl of the Week, Allison Smith. The Blazes want to thank their Spotlight Teacher of the Week, Coach Robin Castro. The Blazes are under the direction of Meredith Dial and Assistant Director Shaylee Caldwell. The Blazes would like to highlight some of their sponsors for this week: Smith Allen Insurance, Sulphur Springs News Telegram, SSHS Student Council, The Supply Kit, TJ Nails, Townsend Fox, and West Oaks Funeral Home. Now take a joyride with the Blazes as they do a racing routine to Life is a Highway.
I see her.
the Sulphur Springs High School Blue Blazers.
As they, that's the Blue Blazes as they clear the field here. Yeah, like we were saying before, the defense is going to have to step it up for the Wildcats, Sulphur Springs Wildcats.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and they're going to have to step up in a big way, and the offense going to have to continue to produce as we started to see in the second quarter if they want to emerge victorious as well. So they're just going to need all-around just better team play, and I'm sure that's what Coach Faircloth is saying to his squad right now.
Right. Well, here it is. It's it's just going to be kind of no harm, no foul. The game starts over here at the first half, but the Sulphur Springs Wildcats will not be getting the ball. So, like you say, they'll immediately be on defense, kicking the ball away. So Spencer Emmert getting the band ready for the Come Fly With Us. That Sulphur Springs High School band, man, oh man, that Sulphur Springs band, right?
Absolutely, and all the color guard grabbing their flags, band members putting their instruments down as they get set to begin their UIL show.
Yes, and they're moving to area, I believe it is, and they'll be they're in the middle of competition season and trying to make their way to state. Well, they're just using the entire field here.
gentlemen, the Sulphur Springs High School Wildcat Marching Band.
Well, man, oh man, that Wildcat Band, another wonderful performance by Spencer Emmert and that high school band. Your UIL program's just phenomenal, and I'm sure that they'll have no trouble advancing in competition.
Absolutely not. It's such a wonderful show. In fact, it's so good that my grandma texted me and said the band sounds and looks amazing. And you know what I said to her?
Yeah.
I wish they were that good when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I wish the band I was in was that good.
Right.
And man, are they good. But they stay right on the near side of the field and play that fight song as the Wildcat football team retakes the field, getting set for the second half.
Yes, obviously, and Paris Wildcats coming out on the field as well. Obviously, a lot of discussion in those locker rooms. Paris looking at kind of besting a local foe, and really an old rivalry here. I was talking to somebody earlier about we get to play Paris again, like we have in many years, and we were favored on this game coming in to this game tonight, and so we are. Would love to pick up another win, and somebody said, well, it's always good when we can beat Paris because it's an old rival we've had for many years, and here we are in the same district again with them, and some new teams in our district as we've moved down from 5A back down to 4A, and so kind of surprising here for Sulphur Springs to be even after the half, but the game starts over here because it might as well be all zeros. It's tied up 14-all, and the Paris will get the kickoff here for the second half, and Sulphur Springs will be trying to defend again to keep their defense on the field for the shortest time possible so they can get that offense down there and move the ball into the end zone.
Yes, and just like you're talking about, the defense going to have to get a big stop if they want to kind of get off on the right foot, because in the start of the first half, and when this game started, Sulphur Springs got the ball in offense, quickly punted it away.
Yeah.
They were able to kind of get a few first downs, but not a whole lot more. And then Paris got the punt and drove just about 75 yards down the field for a touchdown. So going to need a better start, as we've been talking about, from both sides of the ball if they hope to emerge victorious here.
Here comes the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff with a cat running across the field.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Probably don't see that on YouTube, but over here they're going to be stopping the game here about the 30-yard line as the Wildcats kicked off from right to left on your radio dial. A black cat came across the field and right behind the kicking off, the Wildcats kicking off. So, sorry we missed that. It went out of the end zone. The Paris Wildcats will be taking it on the 25-yard line. They're going to start their 1st and 10 deep in their own territory on their own 25. I guess the cat went under the stands. I guess there's some access there. Came all the way from the Paris side to the Sulphur Springs side and went right under the between the players and under the stands. So here comes 1st and 10.
So they hand it off to their workhorse, Tatrick Dawson, and Dawson quickly finds a hole and just stiff arms a man, Landon Fields. He just shoved him off. And a little bit of John going in between the two.
Yes, more aggressive play here, but a good play for Paris as they move the ball 15 yards, and they're going to be up on their own 40-yard line and starting a new set of downs, 1st and 10.
You know, it was pretty funny, really quickly, going back to that black cat.
Yep.
Maybe it's October, maybe it's... But you saw a lot of kids run away, directly away from that black cat. Very funny. So on the second play on offense for Paris, not as much yards to work with on the last rush, as he runs directly into a Wildcat wall on defense for no gain.
Also, again, just a carry, stop for no gain on the play.
So it sets up a 2nd and 10.
Yes, good defensive play there by Sulphur Springs. And like we said during halftime, they need to make something happen. And try to stop this Paris offense on their first drive to kind of even things up and change that momentum.
So after the rush for no gain, it's 2nd and 10, Paris. Looking for better yards than last time around, and wow, on the end around, he's got a whole lot of room to work with. In fact, about 4 yards on the 2nd down rush, so it sets up a 3rd and medium at 6.
Yes, I think that Riley Hammond's got him out of bounds there.
Number 7, Riley Hammond made the stop. 3rd down, 7.
You're exactly right. That was Riley Hammond's on the tackle, so with that tackle from the leader on the defense, shoving him out at about the 43-yard line, it sets up a 3rd and 7. Paris going to have to convert here. Otherwise, they'll be punting it away after gaining just 1 first down. Here's 3rd and 7. Paris gets the snap. It's Hohenberger, and he rolls right. He's got some green grass to work with, and he threw it short of the wide receiver. We do have a flag down, though, in the backfield.
Yes, kind of in a position where they like to call holding, so let's see what that call's going to be by the official here.
And if Sulphur Springs declines, it'll be interesting to see what Paris decides to do after the fact, because that would make it 4th down.
Right.
Holding.
Yep.
Offense, 26. Penalties refused.
Yep.
4th down.
Yep. The guy marking the ball over there was ready to mark off the yardage with the official, but that penalty is declined by Sulphur Springs, bringing up 4th down for Paris. So they've got their punting unit in.
That was also interesting because the referee said that the penalty was refused as opposed to declined.
I know, I heard that.
I like that connotation.
Yeah.
It's refused.
Right.
It's just a lot more aggressive. So takes a bounce at about north of the 30-yard line. It'll be spotted at about the 31, which is where the Wildcats will start for their first drive on offense here in the second half.
Yeah, so the Sulphur Springs defense did do their job and kept the Paris team from moving on down the field and got them to punt, and now it's pretty good field position for Sulphur Springs as they'll be starting on their own 31-yard line for the Hootens Hardware first down. And I guess that cat is long gone now, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, he's got to be.
Illegal formation on the punt. Penalties refused. First down.
Again, the penalties refused. Illegal formation against Paris.
I wonder if we'll hear a respectfully declined here tonight.
Right, maybe so. I just have to say I ran back a little video here for don't have the ability for instant replay for our YouTube streamers, but ran that back, and that cat came off the wall over there on the far side, Ross, over by the handrail up into the stands. That cat ran up and jumped off that wall before he came across the backfield when the Wildcats were kicking off there at the beginning of the second half.
Well, and I know there's a whole lot of feral cats here in town. In fact, I feed 5 of them at my apartment. But nice reception there for the Wildcat offense to begin the drive. It looks like a gain of 7 or maybe 6. It'll set up a 2nd and 3 maybe?
Yes, looks like that was maybe Cooper Faircloth on the reception there. And, yeah, they're going to move it up. They're going to give them about, we'll call it 6.5 yards there. But they're going to call it 2nd and 3. And the play's coming in, so we'll see if the Sulphur Springs offense can move the ball and put some points on the board.
Driver has Williams in the backfield with him. Williams is able to break 1 tackle, but can't break the second wave as there were 5 Paris athletes there with them. They jump on the ball, but the play was already blown dead.
Yeah,
to their chagrin.
Give him, that's going to drop him for a loss of 2 or 3 yards there, so depending on where they spot it. So it's going to make it 3rd and 6 for Sulphur Springs, losing yards on that play. Yeah, he was just, I thought he was going to bounce off that one defender and roll around and maybe get some more yardage, but there were 2 more, and then 2 more after that jumped on him, and he just couldn't get anywhere with that. So it's going to be pass time for Sulphur Springs.
3 wide right for the Wildcats. Driver gets a high snap, fakes the handoff, is looking right the whole way. He's looking downfield, didn't see any options, so instead takes off with it. But he will not have the first down yards necessary. It looks like he'll be about 2 yards shy of it. taken down at the 40-yard line for the Wildcats.
Well, certainly Sulphur Springs needs to get out there and try to get a quick snap, fake them into try to draw them off sides, but they're not going to. They're going to put the punt team out there and just go ahead and punt it away. 9 minutes left in this third quarter. It's tied up. Paris Wildcats 14, Sulphur Springs Wildcat 14 as well.
So, if I'm not mistaken, that is a 3 and out for the Wildcat offense. So just one first down between these two teams, as both teams have had the ball on offense to start this third quarter. And oh wow, they're going to go for it, but did they get it?
Yeah, looks like
think so. Wow,
looks like it.
Yeah,
so,
the first kind of initial, he kind of made it almost to the line, but then the second wave of tacklers, the bush push as they now call it,
right,
kind of came in and shoved him forward, and that gave him the yardage necessary.
And on the fake punt, the Wildcats convert on fourth down, and they move on up the field to get a new set of downs. They've moved the sticks up to the 46-yard line on Sulphur Springs side, and they just continue to move down the field. Great play call by Sulphur Springs offensive coordinator there.
Yeah, and something I was talking about in the first half is as the Wildcat defense was on the field for a significant amount of time, what the offense really needed to do is if they weren't going to score points, they needed to string together some first downs and keep their defense off the field.
Yep.
So on the first down rush, it looks like he wasn't able to get much yardage. It looks like a gain of 3.
Yep. He's going to make it second and about 7 now. So
we've got a Paris player down.
Oh, goodness. Let's see who that is.
Looks like one of the down linemen. Either way, we're going to take a quick break. And, he might be okay.
To his knees. And the Paris coach tells him to go ahead and stand on up and walk off the field. So number 53 for the Paris Wildcats seems to be okay. And he's going to walk off the field under his own power.
That was 53, Salvador Gomez. So good to see him walking up, just like you said, on his own power and leaving the field of play. But he will have to come off at least for this next play. And he is currently being tended to by that Paris coaching staff. But it's still a 2nd and 7 for Sulphur Springs on offense at their own 49-yard line. So going to see if they can't get it over to the opposing side of the 50 here on this play. Driver is looking for CJ. He's got him. Great block by Cooper Faircloth, but CJ loses the ball again.
Yeah, I think he was out of bounds when he lost it, or he was just going out of bounds. So we're going to get the call from the official. They're not calling it either way, so it's going to stay with the Wildcats. They did make it into Paris territory, but short of the first down. It's going to make it about 3rd and 3 there.
You got to be thankful that, just like you were talking about, we don't have instant replay, but had that been present here in this game, I can almost guarantee that ball would be going the other direction.
Yep.
Because I swear he was inbounds when that ball came out. But, hey, I'll take it. It's a 3rd and 3 now for the Wildcats after C.J. Williams took it on the outside, here on the near side of the field. Driver with a heavy package. Whole lot of big bodies crowding the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And before they can get the play off, Coach Faircloth and the Wildcat coaching staff are going to call a timeout, make sure they've got the right play they want for a 3rd and 3.
We're going to take a break with them. We'll be back Gerald Prim Stadium in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium, where KSST Radio brings you Wildcat football. We are pretty close to halfway through here in this third quarter, 7:21 left to go. Wildcats still tied in a deadlock battle with Paris at 14 all. Sulphur Springs here on their their first drive of the second half. Did convert on a fake punt, and that was about 2 minutes ago, and they still have the ball, but now facing a 3rd and 3 on the Paris 47. So going to see if they can't keep this drive alive and keep ticking time off the clock. Once again, tied at 14. Sulphur Springs trying to start district play 3-0. 3 wide receivers right. And it looks like, I was going to say CJ, but I think that's not CJ. Yes, Malachi Rowland's back in the game, and he's looking deep for Skylar Lewis, but overthrew his wide receiver on the 3rd and 3. So they went for it on a 4th, and I believe it was 2 the last time when they went for that fake punt.
And now it's 4th and 3.
Just 1 yard more. We'll see what the play call is. Driver and the offense looks like they want to stay out there.
Yep.
And as far as we can tell at this current moment, they are in fact going for it. 4th and 3 at the Paris 47. So trying to draw them off sides like they did at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
But no dice there, so Malachi Rowland set to be in pass protection. No, instead they will punt it away, and Driver has a nice punt. Wow, that takes a beautiful Wildcat bounce, and a Sulphur Springs athlete falls down on it at the Paris 2-yard line, which is where they'll start on offense.
Yes, great. A quick punt, we'll call it, and it dropped right on the 2-yard line and just bounced straight up and fell right back down, and it just didn't even move one way or the other. So Sulphur Springs player dropped down on it, and now it's going to be a tough go for this Paris offense as they're starting their 1st and 10 on their own 2-yard line. 7:07 left in this third quarter. It's all tied up. 14 all for Paris and Sulphur Springs.
So the Wildcat defense going to see if they can't flip the script that we saw earlier in this game, as Sulphur Springs was pinned deep in their own end zone. And if they can do the same to this Paris offense, they could find themselves with great starting field position on offense. But Stephen Hohenberger takes the first snap on the drive, and man, that whole army of bodies is still moving forward. In fact, they'll give him a first down on that rush. Wow.
Yeah, great job by that Paris offense, and this is where the Wildcat defense is just going to have to dial it up yet another notch. They're going to have to get that play calling in a little quicker, because Paris offense, very interesting. When they break, they get up there and they just really they get right to the line of scrimmage, and Sulphur Springs barely has time to react before they snap the ball.
So once again, it's Hohenberger on the keeper, and he just is barreling through guys. He breaks a tackle. He is up to the 40, 45, 50, and he still is going, but is taken down at the Sulphur Springs 40. So wow, what a way to flip field position there, as he goes 47 yards before he's taken down.
Yeah, unbelievable run there, and just looked like he could have taken it to the house, but he's all the way into Sulphur Springs territory, all the way on the 40-yard line of the Sulphur Springs side. So just 20 more yards to get into our red zone, and then unfortunately another 20 to get into the end zone. So great play for them, and they're lining up in the same formation.
So this time they hand it off to number 26. That's Tadrick Dawson, and Dawson does take it in between the tackles, and one of the better rushes here for him tonight in between the gut, as he goes about 4 yards on that one. Most of the yardage for this Paris rushing attack has come outside of the tackles, whether they take it out in the flat or jet sweep. But yeah, that's where they've done a lot of harm to the Wildcat defense. And quickly they line up. Hohenberger once again has it, but he slips and falls down. It will be technically a sack on the play.
Got a loss of about half a yard, looks like. That's going to bring up 3rd and kind of long there for Paris, as it's going to be probably about 7 yards that they're going to need to pick up. And it's crunch time for your Sulphur Springs defense, as they've really got to stop them right here.
The flags sure are waving here at the Prim, so you have to imagine that both of these teams are going to be very apprehensive to go for field goals, especially considering the distance they're at right now.
Yeah, there's no way here. They just got a couple of yards on that. It's going to make it 4th down and about 5, maybe even 6. And the wind has picked up, and so they're not going to just too far out to be able to kick a field goal here. I'm guessing they're going to go for it. They've got their regular offense in, and they are going for it.
Yep. So 2 wide receivers left. Hohenberger gets the snap. He starts taking off with it. He's got a man downfield. Oh, but incomplete. He had a man for about 1, maybe 2 seconds, but it was a tough throw and an even tougher reception to try to come down for. Either way, incomplete. It's a turnover on downs.
Yes, the ball was thrown a little bit outside there, and he got a hand on it, but he just wasn't going to be able to pull it in and stay in bounds. So Wildcats going to start their Hooten's Hardware first down on their own 36-yard line. So hopefully the Sulphur Springs offense can get something moving here. It's still tied up 14-all, 4 minutes, 22 seconds left in this third quarter, and Sulphur Springs is going to try to make something happen.
Yeah, I think they had the right recipe on the last drive, just too many plays at the end, kind of ended up going nowhere, so fortunately just had to punt it away, but CJ Williams gets the first carry on offense, and that whole army of bodies just continues to move forward as CJ picks up about a 6, maybe 7-yard rush on that one.
Stop by Davis.
Just over 4 minutes to go left in the third quarter. Both teams deadlocked at 14. And will it be Sulphur Springs that gets the first drive here of the second half? We'll find out here.
And, one of the players on the Paris side all of a sudden has a cramp or whatever. He runs to the side and gets another player to come in for him.
Stay hydrated, kids. Driver looking deep. He's got a man on the far side. That's number 14, Chris Adams, who again comes up pretty clutch for this Wildcat offense.
Yes, a great reception, and that's going to be a first down, and it's going to be on the Paris side of the field as they cross the 50. Now they're in Paris territory. It's going to be a Hooten's Hardware first down for Sulphur Springs.
First down, Wildcats.
So as the Wildcat offense starts to get the play from the home side of the field, they are pretty close to getting ready. Paris still, though, they're looking to their sideline. So now you're seeing kind of flipping the script a little bit. Motion left, it's Chris Adams. Instead, they hand it off to CJ, and CJ has nothing but green grass. One man to beat. Instead, walking out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. What a great rush there. It's a 21-yarder there for CJ.
Yes, a great job. And that, I would call that an explosive play, Ross, is what I would say.
No question.
Yes. So they moved the chains on down, and now the Wildcats are going to be knocking on the door of the red zone down here at Paris 23-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for a Hooten's Hardware first down.
Driver and the offense seeing if they can't go ahead on this drive, but they hand it off to CJ on a first down carry, and he is swarmed up behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2.
Yeah, and loss of yardage there. That's going to be a tough one. And it's going to, gosh, it looks like they're going to mark him back
3 yards,
maybe even 3 yards. Yeah, 3:06 and counting in this third quarter. It's all tied up, 14-all. Your Sulphur Springs Wildcats are looking to put some points on the board and make this a real ball game.
Sending the house as Paris. Driver tries to escape the pocket, but he is taken down once again. This time it's a second straight loss of 2, or sorry, now it's a loss of 2, was loss of 3 on first down.
Right.
But either way, it's a 3rd and 15, so they have to get really 10 yards if they want to give Uriel Santa Cruz a shot at kicking this field goal. Just like we were talking about with all that wind, those flags are...
No, they're starting to whip even more there, and I see even more campfire smoke crossing the field.
Driver hands it off to Matt Mitchell, and he's got a man all alone on the opposing sideline. That's Luke Caton. Luke Caton with a beautiful, beautiful double pass there as he gets a first down. That's exactly what they needed as he went, 20 yards on that one.
Yes, great play. The pitch and the reverse and the pass, and Luke Caton takes it all the way into the red zone, and it's going to be 1st and 10 all the way down on the Paris 9-yard line. So 1st and goal on the 9. So the Wildcats are knocking on the door, putting some points on the board. So this is an exciting offense from Sulphur Springs.
Driver hands it off to CJ, and CJ's immediately met by a couple of Paris players, but he is able to fall forward for it looks like maybe a yard.
Yeah, they may give him 2 on that. They keep kind of sidestepping, and so yeah, they're going to give him 2 on that. It's going to be 2nd and goal on the 7-yard line.
Sulphur Springs needs to punch it in here on this drive and not leave anything up to later down the line, because the fact that they've been able to force a punt and a turnover on downs, they really need to get a touchdown here and emphatically put themselves ahead, at least by one score. Not leaving anything up to chance. Driver sweeps it out to C.J. Williams, and C.J.'s got a touchdown, no question.
He easily walks it into the end zone, and Northeast Texas Farmers Co-op says, way to go Wildcats, as they put 6 more points on the board to go ahead of the Paris Wildcats, 20-14, awaiting the extra point. Obviously, probably going to kick the extra point here. 1:20 left in this third quarter. The Wildcats, your Sulphur Springs Wildcats, are ahead.
Santa Cruz is out there set for the PAT, trying to put his team up by 7, and he does just that. The kick is good, so we've got ourselves a 7-point lead for the Wildcats at 21-14.
We'll be back with you in a moment for the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff here at Gerald Prim Stadium. We'll take a break and be right back. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium and Sulphur Springs Wildcat football. They're up 21-14 over the other Wildcats from Paris. They're about to experience the J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff here. Again, kicking from right to left with the wind, so we're expecting a deep kick here. Don't see any felines on the sidelines to run out on the field. That's going to be one that we'll remember for a long time. Here comes your J. Hodge Chevrolet kickoff.
And Santa Cruz with a booming kick, too far though, as it goes beyond the end zone for a touchback.
Yes, so the Paris Wildcats will start their drive on the 25-yard line, as the smoke seems to be getting a little heavier out here. The campfire smoke moving from right to left as well with the wind. A few more Paris fans showed up finally to support their team, and I'm going to call it right at 100 is all I'm going to say that showed up, making the drive down 19 from Paris. Still have a good crowd here on the Sulphur Springs side, several hundred on the Sulphur Springs side, and a lot of folks enjoying this ball game.
Paris looking to respond with a touchdown of their own. Trevin Hohenberger tries to keep it himself, but it looks like he will get very minimal yardage. It looks like just 1 on that one.
Yes, he was wrapped up and taken down by Sulphur Springs team member there, and a real good open field tackle there. He's kind of hard to contain.
He sure is. Very slippery, and we saw that so many times. In fact, on that last drive, that ended up being a turnover on down for the Paris offense. He rushed for 47 yards, and he is slippery. It's almost like he is covered in Teflon. No one can bring him down.
Right. 44 seconds left in this third quarter, but they'll have to take a play.
And they hand it off to Tadrick Dawson, who, for it seems like a lot of time here tonight, he's trying to take it in between the tackles and got very minimal gain. It looks like 3 on that one.
Yep. 27 seconds and counting. They'll probably let this one run out, but change ends of the field here. Let's see. They're getting the play called in. They're not moving very much. 13 seconds on the game clock. More than that on the play clock, so they can let it run out. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. 4-3. That's going to be the end of the third quarter. We're going to switch into the field. We'll take a break and be right back to Gerald Prim Stadium.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium here on Friday, October 21st. We bring you Wildcat football. They currently lead entering the fourth quarter just by 7 points, 21-14. However, visiting Paris does have the ball to begin the fourth quarter.
They switch into the field, and they've got the wind at their back, so
3rd and 6, and Trevin Hohenberger, as he's done so many times here tonight, keeps it himself and gets the first down with his legs as he gets another first down for this Paris team. But they are extra slow to move the chains. I was about to say maybe there's a flag down, but it takes a second, but they do end up moving the chains. New set of downs for Paris.
Yeah, but he ran out of bounds way over there, but they're calling him down way up here. I'm not sure what happened there. but coach on the Paris side was really jumping up and down. So not sure what happened, but it's going to be 1st and 10 from their own 37.
Owenberger gets a good leading block, and just as we've seen so many times, as I keep saying, gets another first down with his legs. So another very impressive rush there by number 22 for Paris.
First down.
And I wish I had his stats in front of me, but all I can tell you is he's rushed very well tonight.
Yes, he has, and they're still in their own territory on the 49, but they're trying to cross and get into Sulphur Springs territory right at midfield.
Wildcat defense going to look to get another stop like they got on their last few drives. In the third quarter, they were able to force a punt and a turnover on downs as the Wildcat defense swarms to the football on a first down rush for a loss of 1.
Yes, a fantastic play there by Braden Morris, who jumped into the backfield and took the runner down for Paris in his own backfield. And so, yeah, they lost a yard on that one. It's going to be 2nd and 11. They backed him up to their own 48. Fantastic play. Braden Morris just jumped on that one.
2nd and 11 now after the tackle for loss. Paris, I imagine, yes, gives it to Hohenberger. I am aghast at that play call, but he only gets 2 yards on a carry of 2nd and 11, so it sets up a tough 3rd and 9.
Yeah, barely past the original line of scrimmage there after moving backwards a little bit. They moved forward back up, and like you say, it's going to be 3rd and 9. They're right on the 50-yard line. They're trying to get into Wildcat territory, Sulphur Springs Wildcat territory, but they've got a ways to go to keep this drive alive, and they've got to get 9 right here.
Hohenberger dropping back to pass. Haven't seen a whole lot of that, and instead the pocket breaks down. He tries to take off, but he won't get much. Just 2 yards on that carry.
Yes, the good play by Sulphur Springs defense there, that they read that pretty quickly and swarmed him up and didn't give him many options. So it's punt time for Paris, and the way the wind is right now, it's gusting 15 miles per hour, I would guess, with those flags, and they could put it all the way into the end zone if they wanted to. Nobody back for Sulphur Springs for the receive the punt.
And wow, takes a couple of bounces on the far side, but rolls out at the 11-yard line for Sulphur Springs, which is where they'll start their next drive on offense.
Yeah, not really a great punt, a real high punt when he could have really sent it on down the field and had the wind carry it, but went out of bounds, like you say, Ross, over on the 11. So the Sulphur Springs will start their drive, their Hooten's Hardware first down on their own 11-yard line, and 9:43 left in the ball game. Sulphur Springs 21, Paris 14. A lot closer than what we thought it would be, but your Sulphur Springs Wildcats have the ball. They need to keep it and keep maybe put some points on the board to put this game away.
Yeah, I have to imagine that while the offense was on the sideline, their coordinator was just grabbed them and said, hey, our defense just got to stop. All you need to do is go score 3. That's all you need, because Paris clearly thought that they were going to get the ball back by making the decision to punt on 4th down, which makes total sense. They more than likely will get it back.
Right.
But that also is contingent upon them believing that they can get a stop of the Sulphur Springs offense. So if the Wildcats get 3 points, this game could be, I don't want to say over, but pretty close.
Could be locked down by no stretch of the imagination. And on their first down, they threw an incomplete pass, so it's going to be 2nd and 10 for Sulphur Springs.
Driver on the bootleg is looking for Matt Mitchell all the way. He makes a man miss on a juke, but then runs into the second wave of defenders, but not before getting 9 yards.
Yes, a real good second effort there. Matt Mitchell got right up almost where they need to be. It's going to make a 3rd and short, but it's a very important 3rd down, because that 1 yard will keep this drive alive for Sulphur Springs. 9:13 and ticking left in the ball game. Sulphur Springs up 21-14 over Paris.
Well, and a new set of downs virtually guarantees that you get another 3 minutes on offense, so even ticks away even more time. And Driver wisely keeps it himself, and what a play call there by the coaching staff. as he just barrels his way with the body of Wildcats
Yes, and
for almost
so
10 yards.
what he was trying to get 1 yard, he got 10 exactly, moving all the way up to their own 31-yard line, and so he just barreled his way up. He was just trying to get some short yardage and a new set of downs, and instead he moved it 10 yards and has a great field position now for Sulphur Springs.
Up now to the 31-yard line for the Wildcats. Sulphur Springs with a new set of downs. Driver has Rowland in the backfield with him. Instead, he defers to C.J. Williams on the outside, and Williams making a man miss and taking it outside, walking it out of bounds, but not before getting another first down.
Yes, very aware there of where he needed to get to. Just a wonderful play, and what just great the way he ran that, and he knew exactly where he needed to get that first down, and he got just by inches before going out of bounds. So it's 1st and 10 on the Wildcat 41 for your Hooten's Hardware first down.
Oh,
yeah.
And Chris Adams had a real rough false start.
He's went on the wrong count there, so it's going to back Sulphur Springs up 5 yards, and they're going to try again. It's going to be 1st and 15 after the false start penalty against Sulphur Springs. So just had the count wrong, went on the wrong count, and no doubt. But that's not going to break the momentum for this Sulphur Springs offense as they're switching out some of the personnel here and changing the play up. Got 2 receivers here on the near side, Ross.
After the false start for Chris Adams, it's a 1st and 15. The Wildcats elect to hand it to Malachi Rowland, and wow, what a great first rush for him here tonight as he gets, well, more than enough yardage back. In fact, it looks like almost 10.
Yes, he's that's going to make it, let's see where they spot it, right on the 45-yard line. They need to get to the other side of the 50 to the 49, so that's going to be 2nd and 6.
Nice 9-yard rush there for the running back Malachi Rowland, who's been missing the last few weeks, coming back from an injury, but good to see him back out on the field and contributing to this Wildcat team. 2nd and 6, driver keeps it himself, and wow, he's got green grass, breaks a tackle, and is almost taken down. Wow. And it takes quite a bit of time to get him down, but he is taken down at about the 20-yard line, a gain of 25. Uh-oh, but we've got a Wildcat down. I hope it's not driver, but
oh, goodness,
it just might be.
Let's take a look. Yeah, I think that's going to be about a 35-yard gain there. And that is driver. He's twisted an ankle, looks like. He's hobbling up. And he's going to get to the sideline. No, they're going to take an injury timeout and check on our quarterback here. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back at Gerald Prim Stadium in just a moment.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium. We've got a scary scene here, folks, as quarterback Brady Driver on an excellent quarterback scramble got easily 25 yards on that one. However, he was taken down hard and now is limping off the field. He is being carried off by 2 trainers, but definitely not what you want to see with just, well, excluding the rest of this game here tonight, 2 games left on the regular season and all but a lock for the playoffs.
Yes, so it's hard to see on the far side of the field there what happened. He obviously carried one of the Paris defenders another 10 yards. Getting all the way down, a great run. I think 35 yards what we clocked that in. He's brought it down into the Paris the 22-yard line, so it's 1st and 10 for your Hooten's Hardware 1st 10, and now we've got a new quarterback.
So I believe that's, yes, number 19, Caden Mitchell, and on the first play he gets as quarterback, he safely hands it off as play calling gets a bit more conservative, but it doesn't look like he'll have any gain on that run.
No, it looks like they got him right to the line of scrimmage there and locked him up, and so I think somebody lost a helmet there. They're going to come out for one play, and
yep, you're exactly right. That was number 8, Malachi Rowland, whose helmet came off on the rush after no gain. So it's a 2nd and 10. He comes off. Rose Luke, one of the running backs on this team, comes back on. And Caden Mitchell tried to roll out of the pocket, maybe find someone downfield, but no one open, and said he just has to eat a sack. That is a loss of 1 yard.
Yeah, so that play fell apart for him real quick, and he tried to scramble and get out there, but wasn't happening. So they're going to regroup. It's going to be third and long. It's going to be third down about 11. It looks like backed up to about the 27-yard line, maybe.
So it's 4th and 12 now.
Excuse me, 24.
It's on the 24-yard line. So from right here, assuming no gain, it's a 42-yard kick. Caden Mitchell, though, looking downfield. He's looking for Skylar Lewis. And, but no flag, surprisingly, as that defensive back was literally draped on him.
Yes, I'm bringing a yellow flag to the next game, because that was certainly the ball was placed perfectly. The route was run great, but the defender was all over him. And no flag. That's going to bring up 4th down. So looks like, are they going to kick it, or are they going to go for it?
Looks like right now they are currently going for it, but no, the coaching staff comes on the field, calls a timeout. So we're going to take a timeout with them while they decide what to do on a pivotal 4th and 12 with just under 6 minutes left to go. We'll be back here in just a moment. Welcome back to the Prim. We've got a pivotal 4th and 12 coming up for the Wildcats. It's on the Paris 24-yard line. However, it should be noted that quarterback Brady Driver has left the game with an injury. He is still on the sideline, being tended to.
Bringing in all-terrain vehicle.
Oh boy, so they're taking him back to the locker room.
Yeah, it got the staff outside the injury trailer on the other side of the field. They may be taking him over there, get a look at that ankle.
So here's the 4th down play. Skylar Lewis gets the ball, and he makes pretty good yardage back, but doesn't get the yardage necessary for a 1st down. So Paris will be pinned back deep in their own territory, trailing by 7 with just under 6 minutes to go.
Yes, good second effort there, but not enough to get the 1st down. But it's pinned Paris way back in their own territory there. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Paris, all the way back on their own. Looks like about the 16-yard line. And yes, Brady Driver is being delivered over there to the injury trailer. Parked out there, Christus Mother Francis Hospital, the orthopedic department.
And Paris, as you just mentioned, being pinned deep in their own territory at the 16-yard line. We do have a flag down, though. I have to imagine it'll be against the Wildcat defense, but yeah, they'll need to go 84 yards currently down the field if they hope to tie this game up. We'll see what the flag is, though. 2 of them, so it was a very apparent call, no doubt. Several judges were there on that far side, just ready for the call. We'll pick up their flags and find out what the call is here in just a second. Although the offense for Paris moving forward.
Personal foul. Defense number 7. 15 yards. 1st down.
So kind of a heavy call there, a personal foul. That's going to give them a new set of downs, move them all the way up to about the 30-yard line, 31, let's call it. They're going to have 1st and 10 from their own 31 after the penalty.
So it was 84 yards to gain. Now it's just 69. And I was about to say no gain, but very minimal gain. A rush of 1 on 1st and 10 brings up 2nd and 9 at the 32, it looks like.
Stopped after a short gain.
So now just 5 minutes left to go. Paris, all they need is that, and they've demonstrated it plenty of times here tonight, all they need is one big play from their quarterback, Trevin Hohenberger. And before they know it, they'll have flip field position. Now under 5 minutes left to go. Hohenberger, he is looking downfield. He's got it, man, just about at midfield. It looks like he'll be shoved out at the 49 for Paris. So that does stop the clock, and again, it moves them all the way up to midfield.
Yes, they're getting, right at midfield, so they're going to be looking to get into Sulphur Springs territory. 4:48 left in the ball game. Sulphur Springs 21 over Paris 14. Your Sulphur Springs defense trying to get Paris stopped here.
So number 13 in motion, he gets it on the jet sweep, and he's got some green grass to work with, almost making it to another first down. So another 1st and 10 carry for Paris, almost resulting in another first down.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to give him 8 on that play, so it's going to be 2nd and short. The clock's still rolling, 4:13 left in the ball game, and Paris really kind of taking their time up here.
Yeah, and it's not hard to understand why. I mean, this drive started with 5:43 left to go in the game at their own 16, and now they're at the Sulphur Springs 42. So just having no problems tonight, advancing the football and getting new sets of downs. So this play, though, blown up at the line of scrimmage. The running back on the carry met into, goodness, the Iron Curtain.
Yes, great play by Sulphur Springs defense there. They just wrapped him up and pushed him back. No gain on the play. Matthew Clark in on the tackle there. He wrapped him up and didn't let go. So it's going to be 3rd and 2. Crunch time for your Sulphur Springs defense.
Oh,
there's offsides.
False start.
False start,
goodness.
Yeah. They're going to blow that one dead as they're going to back up Paris 5 yards for the false start. That was a good jump. He was a good 2 steps on the other side of the line of scrimmage before that ball got snapped.
Yeah, that would have been borderline criminal had that one not been called.
Yeah. So a great break for your Sulphur Springs defense as they back up Paris offense 5 yards on their false start. That's going to make it 3rd and 7. Puts them on the Wildcat. The Sulphur Springs 47-yard line. So they come scrambling up to the line of scrimmage. Let's see what they're going to do.
Trailing by 7 with under 3 minutes to go. 4-down territory. Hohenberger keeps it himself, and he's got some green grass. My goodness, it looks like he will have either just enough or more than enough yardage necessary for another first down.
Yes, he got 2 yards past the sticks there, and they're going to move them. That's going to move the ball all the way up to the Sulphur Springs 38-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Paris. And with 2:49 left in the ball game, Paris trying to even it up. Or, if they score, they can go for 2 and be a point ahead. So it's dangerous territory here for Sulphur Springs defense.
Oh, and it gets away from the quarterback on the snap, but he does come down with it, but not before being taken down for another loss. In fact, that looks like 5.
Yeah, it sure does. He tried to scoop it up and make something happen, but that didn't work out for him. So they're going to be moved all the way up to the 43-yard line. And that's a great break for the Sulphur Springs defense again. 2nd down and 15.
Like I mentioned, this drive started with just under 6 minutes left to go in this game. And in the first 2 minutes, they had no problem moving the ball. But now the offense kind of starting to stall for Paris. So they're going to need a couple big plays at 2nd and 15. And on the double reverse, not able to complete a tackle. Otherwise, that would have been a huge loss on that one. However, he is taken down, still behind the original line of scrimmage, but does gain 2 yards.
Yes, it's going to make it 3rd down and about 13. Yeah, he narrowly avoided a Wildcat defender there. He broke that tackle, or that, like you say, it probably would have been a loss of about 10 yards. Another timeout taken. We're going to take a timeout with them for a short break and be back here at Gerald Prim Stadium with 1:55 left in the ball game. And we're back at Gerald Prim Stadium where the Wildcat defense, Sulphur Springs Wildcat defense, is on the field trying to defend another score from Paris. Sulphur Springs is up 21-14 over Paris, but Paris has the ball with 1:55 left. It's 3rd and 13, and they're in Sulphur Springs territory on the Sulphur Springs 41-yard line.
4-down territory, but here's 3rd and 13. Hohenberger I am shocked and amazed to announce that he, in fact, kept it himself and took off for another 10-yard gain. In fact, on that one, 13.
Yes, and just enough to move the sticks, and it's going to give him a new set of downs. But he was tackled. I thought he was tackled in bounds there. The clock stopped maybe for moving the change. 1:45 left in the ball game. They get a new set of downs on the Sulphur Springs 28-yard line, and now the clock's rolling, 1:39 and counting. So let's see where they're going to take it. They're obviously going to try to put it in the end zone here and not leave much time on the clock. 1:25.
Hohenberger looking back to pass, and he's got a couple Wildcats in his face. He has to chuck it downfield, incomplete.
Yes, he was not even looking when he threw that one out of bounds, but try to save a sack of about 8 yards. He threw it away, and that's going to bring up second down and 10. Still on the Sulphur Springs 28-yard line. Stop the clock with 1:17 left in the ball game. Kind of a tense time here, Ross.
Yeah, it sure is. Wildcat fans, I think, have been nervous since Paris scored that first touchdown, going up 7-0. And on a screen, yes, they do get to him, and they will tackle him inbounds, which will let the clock roll. A lot of these last plays, the Wildcats have shoved a player out of bounds, which has forced the clock to stop. But since he stayed in bounds and was tackled in bounds, Paris now has to use one of their last 2 timeouts.
We'll take a quick timeout with them, and we'll be back to Gerald Prim Stadium in just a moment. And we're back at Gerald Prim Stadium. They just added a few seconds back on the clock. 1:03 left in the ball game. Sulphur Springs up 21-14 over Paris. We've got ourselves a ball game here as Paris took a timeout to try to regroup. They've got pretty good yardage on that last play, Ross. It's going to make it 3rd and about 7. Is that right? Maybe. Yep. They're on the Sulphur Springs 25-yard line. This is crunch time for both teams because they've got to make something happen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 1:03 left to go in this one. As Chad just mentioned, the Wildcats lead by 7, 21-14. Both teams, though, have only 1 timeout remaining. So if Paris, like on the previous play, gets tackled inbounds, they'll have to use their final timeout, which is crucial, with just 63 seconds left to go in this one.
Got some receivers already lined down on the outside, and they're still talking about it in a partial huddle.
Quickly, though, they make their way to the line, set for 3rd and 7. Here's the play. And Hohenberger, as we've seen so many times here tonight, just takes it over to the right side. I mean, if I were, at some point, I would just be like, you know what, guys? Just move all 11 men on the defense to the right side of the field. There's a very high probability you're going to find a quarterback.
That's the way he's going to run. So he stepped out of bounds there, and it's going to make it very he got a couple yards. It's going to make it 4th and 4. Of course, they're going for it. He stepped out of bounds, stopping the clock. 56 seconds left in this ball game. Paris down by 7. They've got one opportunity here to make something happen. They've got to get at least 4 yards for a new set of downs. They're going to take their last time out and talk about it. We're going to take a break with them and be right back to Gerald Prim Stadium.
Welcome back to the Prim. Biggest play of the game here. 4th down and 4 yards for Paris at the Wildcat 22-yard line. 56 seconds left to go. Wildcats lead by 7. Here it is. 4th and 4, game on the line. Paris has to convert for at least an attempt to tie this ball game. But before they can get the play off, the Wildcats will call a timeout. So we're going to take one more break and be back here for the 4th down play coming right up.
Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium. We've got ourselves a ball game here, Ross. Things are getting kind of tense. 56 seconds left. Paris down by 7. They've got the ball. 4th and 4, trying to convert and keep their chances alive. They're coming back out. Sulphur Springs wisely taking their last time out once they saw how Paris was lined up. And this Sulphur Springs crowd is on fire, cheering on the Sulphur Springs defense.
4th down and 4. Wildcats lead by 7. Here's the Paris 4th and 4. Hohenberg looking downfield, and he's got it for the touch. No! Incomplete!
They wave it off. He did not get it. They did not convert. The Sulphur Springs Wildcats will take over the ball. They're talking about it. Oh, the officials are talking about it.
And man, there's about to be one real upset sideline and one real happy sideline.
Yes.
We're going to find out which is which here in just a second. This is a
Paris
crazy
coaches
call.
over there calling touchdown.
You know, one of the most powerful things on a football field is having a football team next to all of those referees so they can kind of...
Here comes the call.
Pass incomplete.
And all the Wildcat fans are screaming and yelling.
Pass incomplete. That Sulphur Springs Wildcats will take over on downs. No timeouts left. 48 seconds left in the ball game. They'll just have to kneel down, and this ball game will be over. One of the officials getting an earful from the Paris sidelines right now.
And man, don't you know that hurts to have that kind of call end your chances at a win. But it reminds me a lot, and this kind of is noteworthy considering you play them next week, but it reminds me a lot of that Kaufman game last year in which the Wildcats were driving, had a chance to get the game closing score, which would have given them a victory, but instead it came down to a fourth down call that was called short. I didn't think it was, and that ended the game right there for the Wildcats.
Right, and so here it is, the Wildcats in a victory formation here. Going to take the snap and kneel down back in the backfield.
So it's likely, going to need one more kneel down.
Need one more of those. It's 41 seconds left in this ball game. The Sulphur Springs Wildcats will go for another win in district.
You know, before this game ends and we do our send-off, I gotta say, I'm very ecstatic the Wildcats could pull out this win, but if there's one thing that we could describe this win, it's that they escaped with one.
They did.
They really did.
It was not the blowout we were expecting, but a great game nonetheless. It's winding down to triple zeros. The teams are already lining up on the field to end this one, and the Paris coaches are certainly going to be reviewing the film on that one again and again. But your Sulphur Springs Wildcats proved victorious over the Paris Wildcats, an old rivalry that we were glad to come out on top of again this year. So now that they're back in our district. So the Wildcat bring us up on the Wildcat schedule and now their record so far, Ross.
So they came into this one 6-1, 2-0 in district, but now with a very close win over Paris, they find themselves at 7-1 and 3-0 in district play. And not only is it huge to be 7-1 and 3-0, but to be 3-0 heading into your two toughest games on the year at Kaufman versus Anna on senior night is catastrophically huge, because I mean that means that if they say win at Kaufman but lose versus Anna, which I imagine would be the case, that would put them, no question, second seed come playoffs, and that would be huge. So even if they split one of the games or split the two games, they will still be a playoff team, and they are, well, at this point they are locked in at the playoffs. So going to be a fun one next Friday in Kaufman in the battle for what I believe will be the battle for the 2 seed.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us on this one from Gerald Prim Stadium. Your Sulphur Springs Wildcats chalk up another win, and we'll see you in Kaufman next week. Thanks for tuning in and listening in for another Wildcat win. I'm Chad Young with your color commentary. Of course, Ross Lubinsky on play-by-play and Matt Jansen on the camera. We have James Terry back at the studio making it all happen for us. That's going to do it for us from Gerald Prim. James, we'll send it back to you. Thanks and good night.